Greetings, Jews, students, perseverance, genders and persuasions. How are you all doing? Okay, day 18, and I'm surprised I'm actually still doing one every day. I'm finding something. Yeah, so it's Monday. I thought today I'd talk about my knees. Yes, my knees. Anybody that knows me knows I have really bad injuries to both my knees. I'm not supposed to do a lot of walking. I'm not supposed to do running, even though I do. But yeah, basically, okay, I'll start off. My right knee was the one that got injured first. About 27 years ago, roughly. I used to work on train. And the little trains used to have, like, I was a dolly with the trolley, basically, if you want to put it that way. I had a little cart, and I had on a huge urn full of hot water, and all like the sandwiches, crisps, drinks, you know. At that point then I could sell alcohol as well. So I had like cans of lager, little bottles of spirits, that sort of thing, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, you know, crisps, biscuits, chocolate, that sort of normal stuff on the trolley. And my job was, I would get on at Bristol Temple Meads. My usual trip was either to Brighton and back or Portsmouth Harbour and back, and 2 or 3 times a week I would go from Bristol Temple Meads right down to Penzance in Cornwall. Now that was a 12-hour day going to Penzance and back, but I loved it. I really loved it. It was weird shifts. Sometimes I would be early in the morning, sometimes I would start in the afternoon, finish late at night, but I have to admit I loved that job. I really did enjoy that job. But anyway, let's get on to my injury. So basically, on the occasion of my injury, we were going to Brighton, but there was some problem with the line further down, and I had to get off at a different station, right, with my trolley, and wait for the train to go down, turn around and come back, because I said, well, why can't I leave my trolley on the train? And they said, oh no, we have to get everybody and everything off. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, this station, it was like a little station in the middle of nowhere. Now bearing in mind, my trolley isn't exactly light, and at Templemead station, where I got on and off regularly, there was always one of the managers or another member of staff or something that would help me on and off with the trolley. Or if I was, if there was a nice guard or someone like that, one of the train guards was really nice, he would let me use the wheelchair ramp to push my trolley up and down. Right. But anyway, at this station was not one that I would normally get off at. So the gap between the train and the platform itself is a good 2 foot wide. Okay, there's a step down a good 2 foot between the train and the platform. So I'm trying to step off, holding this big trolley, right? The guard at the other side is trying to lift this heavy trolley, right? And basically I went down between the train and the platform. In the platform, I've got one leg up on the platform, the rest of me is sort of sideways, my other leg's gone down, right? I'm like this trying to hold the heavy trolley off of me, because obviously it's trying to fall down on top of me, and this is a big urn of heavy hot water I don't want all over me. So at that point, I'm sort of like going, ah, and I'm screaming, I'm like, well, I think I swore, I can't really remember, it was that long ago. I probably said, oh, get this thing off me. At that point, another guard from the station platform comes out, they get the trolley, they pull me up, right? And I'm like, of course, my leg, I am in agony with my right knee. And I was crying, I was that much pain. So they get me into like the guard's office, they sit me down, the first aider has a look, and so I was like, oh, you know. And they said, well, what are you doing now? And I said, well, I'm waiting for the train so I can go back to Bristol. So anyway, they phoned my manager in Bristol, explained what had happened, right? Luckily that day I didn't take the car in, because I had a really old Austin 1100 at that point. I phoned up my manager, and the manager says, right, okay, just get her back on the train, sit her on a seat, put the leg up. They gave me some ice packs I put on my knee and what have you, and I just waited for the train to come back. They carried me, these 2 blokes carried me on the train. Oh, embarrassing. And then they put the trolley, and they locked the trolley away in the guards section, and what have you, and I was just sat there, not much I could do until I got back. When I got back to Bristol, again my manager was there waiting with a couple of other members of staff, and he'd got some platform guards and that as well. They took the trolley off. They literally put me in a wheelchair. They carried me down in a lift back into the office because I still had to cash up, you know, and what have you, even though I was in agony. And of course, by this point, I think, you know, they say like when you're in pain, like adrenaline and stuff kicks in. And didn't feel in as much pain as what I had been. The ice pack was helping, you know, it wasn't too bad. So my boss said, well, he said, I'll pay for a taxi for you to get home. So I thought, well, that was really nice of him, you know. So they sort of like wheel me out. I get into a taxi, well, struggle into a taxi. It was a pain in the ass. And then get home, get to my mum's. Of course, at this point also my manager, I said, well, I was living at my mum's, I wasn't married then. My manager said, I'll phone your mum, let her know what's going on. I mean, this is before mobile phones as well, you know. This is before cell phones. This is like a landline phoning and stuff, you know. So anyway, my mum's there, ready and waiting for me. Taxi pulls up. I get out. I struggle out. By this point, my knee was starting to hurt again. So I'd already decided in my own mind, when I get home, I'm going to get the doctor out, have a look, see what I've done. Anyway, I get out, taxi driver helps me over to the front door. Right, my mum stood there, and he says like, oh yeah, fine, no problem, it's already been paid. You okay? And I'm like, yeah, fine. Taxi driver buggers off. Got the door open. She's like, you alright? Do you want me to help you in? And I went, no, I should be alright. I can hop. Right, I can hop. I'm okay. So I grabbed the door frame and I hop up onto the doorstep. Not a problem. Now my mum's door has a little lip around the edge of the door frame, right? So I'd hopped up onto the doorstep, but then I had to hop over this little tiny lip that was only about an inch tall, right, to get into the hallway. What did I do as I hopped? Caught my foot on it, bang, and I went splat down. And what did I land on? My bad knee. I was led on the floor screaming. The pain was excruciating. It was really unbelievable. So of course at this point then I'm like, no, and my mum goes, right, that's it, no, sorry, I'm phoning an ambulance. You've obviously done damage anyway, and now you've just gone down on it, you've probably done more. So phones an ambulance, and I get took to hospital. I'm in A&E, accident and emergency. I've been told I've got severe ligament and tendon damage in the back of my knee. I had also slightly dislocated my kneecap, but they managed to manipulate that, which, you know, they manipulated that back into place, so that was okay. And then I was in hospital for, they'd done x-rays and everything else, and tests and I ended up bandaged, not in a plaster cast, right, but in a bandage from thigh to ankle, right? They put a normal bandage around. Then they put this like wadding that you would get in a cushion around. Then they put another bandage, then another layer of wadding, and then another bandage, right? And of course, then I'm thinking like, pardon my language, I'm thinking, how the fuck am I gonna get home? You know, because I'd got an ambulance with me mum sort of thing, but I was just thinking, like, how am I gonna get home? So anyway, me mum got out of hospital, got a taxi home, and it is, if you'd have seen me and my mum and the taxi driver, you would have thought it was somewhat out of like flipping Keystone Cops or somewhat stupid like that, right? I'm trying to get in the taxi and I'm sort of like, because I can't move my knee. I cannot move my knee. It is like, so my leg is totally stiff. I can't move my leg. So I'm trying to sit down and I'm trying to pull myself back. And I got my mum trying to pull me that way. The taxi driver's trying to push me good leg and push me in. So I ended up sat across the back seat like this, you know. I'm trying to get out. Well, I couldn't shuffle forward to get out because of my knee and the bandages, right? And of course, also I was still wearing my work trousers, and they'd cut the leg off my work trousers. And then they ended up trying to shuffle backwards, and then I had my mum and the taxi driver literally pull me out the back of the taxi, and then I'm like hobbling in, and my mum goes, hang on a minute, I got a stick. So when she comes out with a freaking broom, right, a brush, and so I've got the brush under my arm like a crutch. I'll never to this day know why the hospital didn't give me crutches. I did ask for crutches and they never appeared. Oh, typical NHS, never mind. But anyway, yeah, so struggling at me mum's. Luckily I was living with me mum's. It was I had to go up and down the stairs on me bum. Anyway, I was in these bandages for let me think. I was in the bandages for 2 weeks. Right, the main bandages I was in for 2 weeks. About every 4 days, yeah, about every 4 or 5 days, a nurse would come out, take all the bandages off and redo them. And eventually, after 2 weeks, they took off the wadding, and then I was just in a normal bandage for about another 4 weeks. And then after that, I had about 8 weeks worth of physio on my knee. I had to go back and have more tests done on it and more x-rays and stuff like that. So basically, yeah, that is how I killed my right knee. So, yeah. And that's why I'm not supposed to do a lot of running and stuff. And every so often it plays up. It still gets swollen. I still get water retention on it. And I can still feel the twinging in the back of my knee sometimes when I'm walking. But like I said, it was over 20 years ago and it's just something I've got used to. But yeah, so that's how I damaged my right knee. Next time I'll talk about how I damaged my left knee. That's an even weirder story, but I'll leave that for another time. Right, so that's about it for this one. You all take care, and I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!